Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Do your job and stop whining. That's what the supervisor said to our OP. Let's see how that turned out in the first story. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Do your effing job. So I work in an industrial setting consolidating waste. I'm a team lead for one of the crews that work in the primary building. Now, being a team lead, I have keys to get into certain places and can drive a forklift. Now, even though it's not my job, sometimes the supervisor, who I'll use JA for his name, wink wink, one of the other buildings asks me to get things for his workers. Also, because I drove fork, JA will ask me to jump on one quickly to help him out. It's never quick. Even though technically I don't have to do these and could refuse, I often comply because why not? Until yesterday. Background. It's been bloody cold, and on Monday my crew was saying heater isn't working. JA's been saying it's on and not dealing with it all week. He's supposed to be the one to draw up work orders for such things, as they must be authorized by a supervisor. We aren't allowed to just go to maintenance. So Thursday, the heat still isn't on. We're all freezing, even with 3+ layers, and our materials are also beginning to freeze, causing us to not be able to consolidate. I had enough of JA dodging us, so I went straight to maintenance, and told them what's going on. They came and agreed the heat wasn't on, and just this once drafted the paperwork themselves, as this was kinda necessary. Word got back to JA about me, still needed his signature, and he calls me to the office. He starts chewing me out about how I disrespect him by not going through him. I tried to say that I've been going on about the heat for days, and he didn't do anything about it. Then he said the magical words. It's not your job, it's mine. You need to do your effing job and stop whining about the heat. I had it then. So I gave him a very sarcastic yes, sir, and a salute, and left the office. He wrote me up, but the union got it torn up by the end of the day. Now, I spent all that night brewing. I was still mad about it Friday. Well, sure enough, he sent one of the guys to me to open a lock, and that's when it hit me. It's JA's job to do that. I was doing it out of courtesy. I just put my hands up and say, it ain't my job, go get JA. Supervisors and leads can't just give keys, they have to go themselves. I explained why to the guy, and he just laughs and walks back. 5 minutes later, I hear JA on the radio calling me outside. I meet him, and he's fuming. He goes off a little on what the big idea is. I parrot to him those magical words. It's your job, not mine. I'm just doing my job. He stands there just staring angrily, shakes his hands, and mutters, whatever. Then he asks me to go grab a lift because he needs some pallets shifted. Again, I refuse and parrot, well, I guess that did it, because he turned a delightful shade of red. That began an immediate attempt of him trying to get me fired for insubordination / remove me as lead. The union defends me, saying it really isn't my job. Union wins, I'm still lead, and now I have the image of his red face to keep me warm this weekend. And our second story. I didn't ask you what you think. Okay. In the late 1980s, my first job was working at a well-known fast food chain. I'd been working here a couple of years at the time of the story and had worked my way to crew leader, but had just been passed over for a promotion to shift manager 3 days before. It's around 7 p.m. and we just finished the dinner rush, and the newly promoted manager, NPM, decided to save some labor and send the bulk of the crew home and just keep the closing crew. We had one person covering drive-thru, one person in the grill, me, one person at the front counter, and NPM. At this point, it's important to know that this fast food chain was running a promotion for their most famous hamburger item, 2 for $2, and of course this was very popular. With one employee in the grill area and the equipment and prep methods that were being used at the time, it was possible to make this item 6 at a time. We had code names for cranking out these items from the grill area at speed. 6 pull 6 meant that you were to make 6 of the item, and when you finished making these 6 times, you started the next 6. With this method, you can make about 6 items every 2.5 minutes. 6 turn 6 meant you start 6 of this item, and when you flip the meat on the grill, you start making 6 more. With this method, you can make 6 items every 75 to 80 seconds. So what happens 10 minutes after NPM sends the bulk of the crew home? We get a large Greyhound bus full of senior citizens that walk into the restaurant. About 80 people flood the lobby and start lining up to place their orders. From the grill area, I see the flood of people, assess the situation, and decide to start making some food. However, I choose not to make our hot sale item since I don't think the bulk of these customers will order this. I decide to make fish, chicken, and smaller hamburger items, which I believe this group of people will order. Just as I finish delivering the first wave of these smaller items and about to start another, the NPM pokes her head out of the office and notices the situation. Obviously, the lone front counter person was overwhelmed, and the NPM rushes to help take orders. On her way to the front counter, she yells to me in the grill area, "I want you to do a 6-turn-6 until I tell you to stop." I don't think these guys are going to be ordering that. Are you sure? I didn't ask you what you think. They made me the manager, not you, and this is what needs to be done. So I start cranking out the burgers, and don't bother to wrap them up. I'm working furiously to get into a rhythm, turning 6 of these every 75 to 80 seconds. About 15 minutes pass, and there are about 60 burgers made. With only me in the grill, there isn't time for me to box the burgers and put them in the bin. I'm stacking trays of finished burgers on any flat surface I can find in the grill area. NPM is still taking orders at the front counter. She hasn't noticed how many burgers are piling up in the grill area. At this point, I decide to ask her if she wants me to continue. "Do you still want me to do 6-turn-6? Did I tell you to stop?" Huh. Well, she's taking the customer orders, so she must know what's going on. I go back to the 6-turn-6, another 20 minutes pass, and there are another 90 burgers. And I'm putting trays of finished burgers in the sink area, straddling fryer vats, etc. She still hasn't told me to stop. At this point, all the customer orders are taken, and they're now trying to get orders out. The smaller fish, chicken, and burger items are long gone by now, and I've had no time to make any more. NPM yells back to me, "We need chicken, fish, nuggets, hamburgers, and cheeseburgers." "So you want me to stop the 6-turn-6? What? You're still doing that? Are you crazy?" "You didn't tell me to stop. I'm doing exactly what you asked me to do." At this point, she walks back to the grill area and sees the fruits of my labor. There are burger trays everywhere. The prep table is a disaster. The grill needs to be cleaned, and I can't even get to the fry vats to make chicken or fish since there are burgers stacked on them. NPM, "I can't believe you did this. We're never going to sell all of this. This will ruin my food waste goals." I specifically told you I didn't think a 6-turn-6 was a good idea, and you told me to do it anyway. I asked you if I should stop, and you told me to continue. They made you the manager, so I assumed you knew what you were doing. You did this on purpose. I did exactly what you told me to do. So yes, it was on purpose. NPM then storms back to the front counter, and I start packaging burgers and making the food that was actually ordered to fill the customer orders. She didn't speak to me the rest of the night. The next day, the store manager asks me what happened, and I told him exactly what I was instructed to do. The front counter person was able to verify the instructions that were given, and I never heard anything more about it. The NPM was transferred to another store shortly after this, and I was promoted. And our last story. D-Head loses business account. So I used to work as a delivery driver for an industrial tooling company. One day, the managers were out of the office attending meetings, and one of the sales staff, male, was on holiday, leaving only one sales staff member, female, in the entire office. She came down to me in the depot to ask if I could take a call. I thought this was odd, as I have absolutely no training or experience in sales. The following ensued. Me equals me, MD equals misogynistic D-Head. Me. Hello, this is my name from company's name. How can I help you? MD. Oh, thank God. Someone who knows what they're doing. I can't believe you've left a girl to take all your orders. Me. I'm sorry, sir, but I actually don't know what I'm doing. I work on deliveries and was just asked to help with this call. Is there something I can do for you? MD. Yes, I'd like to make an order for some parts. We're running low, and if we run out, it'll stop production. Can I please have... I'll just stop you there, sir. Like I said, I work deliveries. I'll put you back onto sales. I'm not sure why they put you onto me. Well, that girl you've got answering the phone said she was the only one in sales at the moment, and I don't trust women to place the correct order. Me, slightly shocked at what I've just heard. Well, I can assure you that she's the most competent one here when it comes to placing orders because, well, that's her job. I'm unable to place orders as I don't know how. Well, I'll ring back later then. Me, sales girl name is the only sales staff we have in all week, so if the parts are urgent, then you need to speak to her. Let me speak to your manager. Me, the managers are away in meetings all day. If you can tell me where you're calling from, I'll get him to call back. The phone cuts off. Next day, MD's boss calls in and speaks to one of our managers. They ran out of said part, production stopped, and they're looking for compensation. Manager asked to speak to me and sales girl. We explain situation, and manager rings MD's boss back and explains situation again. MD's boss asked to speak to me and sales girl, apologizes, and assures us he will fire MD as there's no place for that kind of thing in his business. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.